Hello and welcome back to the new and improved Save It for Parts project filming area. So this is what one of my filming areas used to look like, just the corner of the room by the closet and the bookshelf. Pretty boring. I've also done intros out in the garage, which is a little more interesting, or in the basement, trying to cut around all the clutter and just zoom in on a folding table with some of my computer projects. And none of those filming areas were really very good. So I started thinking about what I actually wanted in the office here and how I can improve it, and then I went on Ikea's website and ordered far too many Billy bookcases. Alright, so the Ikea stuff has arrived, and yes, I was not quite expecting it this early, so the living room was a mess. I had to just push things out of the way. Cats are very riled up about it, so it's, yeah, I guess we can start trying to assemble this stuff and then maybe organize the living room next. And despite it taking up half the living room, this is actually not all the Ikea stuff. I ordered as much as I could while it was in stock, and then there were a couple doors that weren't in stock, and whenever they were in stock, the rest of this wasn't in stock, so I had to kind of juggle a little bit. Long story short, I have to go pick up the doors because Ikea would not throw those on the same truck, even though I'm pretty sure they're coming from the same place. I'm also absolutely not ready in my office where all this stuff is supposed to go. I'm trying to put it over there on that wall, so those maps have to go somewhere else, the bulletin board has to go somewhere else, the printer table situation has to go somewhere else, possibly this plant prison has to go somewhere else. This is just to keep the cats from eating the plants in there. Yeah, and then I've got like Christmas gift wrap stuff, I've got other projects I'm working on. It's a mess in here, and yes, I know the lighting is terrible in here. Part of this project is I want better lighting. So I've got this side of the room cleared out. We're ready to start assembling our shelves. And yeah, I could fix up the wall and patch all these holes and paint it, but we're just gonna hide this with shelving anyway. And I don't want to ruin my unbroken streak of never painting a wall in this house since I bought it 13 years ago. Okay, I painted like 60% of one wall as a projector screen, but otherwise, paint, I just don't care. Now I do have to consider some utilities that I'm blocking. I probably will cut a hole in the Ikea cabinets to get the power through. I have an antenna jack here that goes up to the roof, so this I think is going to be wasted space in the corner because Ikea doesn't make a good corner unit, so there's going to be kind of a hole here. I'll have to figure that out, but it might let me access these guys. This, I put this Ethernet wire in like 10 years ago, and it just kind of goes into the basement here. This is just a return, and we can get return air back to the hallway, so I don't know if I necessarily need that. I might end up just taking the register off and blocking this, but I'll think about that a little more first. This is a good excuse to clean out these vents. I haven't done that for a few years. Yeah, there's some good dust bunnies down in there. All right, here is one cabinet, aka a cat platform, installed. So yes, the cats are being extremely helpful with this project. When Donnie isn't trying to get into the air vent, he is trying to play with all of the stuff that's going on here. You guys are being cute today. So now I get to find out how unlevel my floors and walls are, because that is a way bigger gap at the top. I'm partway through this build and I'm realizing that some measurement mistakes may have been made. On my little diagram here, this part up here comes to 94.5, and right over here in the corner I thought that meant to the wall is 94.5. But I think it's actually the entire length of the cabinets plus this 11 for the width of these other cabinets. So basically that means I cannot fit another one over there, and I don't think I can fit my little one over here in the corner. This might not end up looking quite the way I wanted it. Donnie, are you helping? Where's Fluff? Where's Fluff? Is she in there too? Hi. So I'm thinking this might be what I want. It's not exactly what I wanted, but this is kind of a compromise where I've got the corner unit, the side unit, which is going to be mostly shelves. Maybe I'll put my laptop and SDR stuff over here, and then I can plug into that antenna jack in the corner and have a little miniature ham shack here in the corner. So I originally wanted this one to be more of a bookshelf, but maybe I'll put the bookshelf over here. I'll replace that dark bookshelf. I'm also not in love with these little doorknobs. I could do something else with those, and these doors don't shut all the way, so we'll have to get some magnets or something in there to make them shut. Same over here. This one refuses to shut all the way. But what are you gonna do? It's Ikea. That's Swedish for crap. We're making some great progress organizing over here. It looks much better. Just don't look over there. That looks terrible. So I got glass shelves for the upper part, the display section of these cabinets, but unfortunately, Ikea decided to put these awful stickers on here. Yeah, this stuff does not want to come off. Really bad call putting that on glass, Ikea. The lighting in here is still bad. I had ordered some really nice LED strips from Ikea and they were out of stock. So I've found some from Axeman. This is this weird, I don't even know what these are, but they should work. And I've got another set of LED light strips. I guess that's a start. I couldn't find the original remote for these lights, but I found another remote where pushing random buttons does random things up there. Now I can never remember which remote goes with which light strip, and I guess the manufacturers can't either because they sent two remotes with this set. Obviously we have cat storage up on top, always important. I've got some random decor up there. I'm gonna add more, which of course may or may not get thrown onto the floor by these two little vandals. Okay, so these cabinets are also a work in progress. We're going to put some lights inside the doors here. This middle one ended up being kind of video equipment, so tripods, extra camera stuff, yeah, random things there, old cameras. We've got some random books up here. We've got some notebooks from Save It for Parts, all my video ideas from past years. This cabinet is kind of the radio section, so we've got SDR stuff, we've got a digital microscope, not really SDR related, but I might use that for electronics. I'm putting a laptop in here with my RTL SDR or Hacker F1 or something, and we do have an antenna cable going out. It's a little longer than I want, and I know you're not supposed to coil them up like that because reasons, but that's a work in progress too. Down here, we have sort of a charging area for gadgets. We have some radio junk, more radio junk. We have the CyberDeck, extra CyberDeck parts. Some of that stuff still needs to go into the CyberDeck. And then over here, I'm pretty proud of this one. This is the most organized any of this stuff has ever been. This all used to be in, well, that box just in the corner behind the door. So now it is all organized. We have Raspberry Pi stuff, we have Arduino stuff, relays, RFID, electronics. I gotta build those someday. Meshtastic, Picorder. Of course we have to have some unsorted junk. I'll get to that later. Stuff from others. This is just kind of random things that other people have given me that I don't know what to do with yet. And we've got some gadgets up here, a flipper, things like that. And then, yeah, we've got the Raspberry Picorder. I plan on doing more with that, adding some interesting things to that, but it's up here for display for now. Yes, look out. Watch your paws. Watch your paws. Thank you. This one is basically empty right now. Mostly empty. I have some extra random filming stuff, more computer stuff. That's Tandy 100 stuff that's in progress, so yeah. That's about it for the moment. Oh, I also put some magnets in here because these doors do not like to shut, so those magnets just basically hold on to the screw at the back of the handle, and that keeps the cats from getting in there, maybe. So I'm still working on lighting, but there's one more piece of furniture we need before this is a true YouTuber filming area. That's right, I got one of these newfangled standing desks to use as a worktop for vintage computers, electronics, well, whatever else I do up here. And this is usually the point where other YouTubers would go into a sponsored review of their standing desk. But I just went out and bought this at Ikea. Yes, the usual standing desk company who sponsors YouTubers offered me a standing desk like months ago. They offered me a desk, a chair. I said yes, and they ghosted me. I never heard back. Then they offered me another desk, and I said, yeah, and how about that chair you offered before? And they said, oh, no, we're going to change the deal. We're not going to give you as much stuff. Okay, so I said, yeah, give me a desk. And then they wanted me to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork. So yeah, they were a giant hassle to work with and really flaky, so I've just been ignoring their emails ever since, and I went out and just bought one at Ikea. And this thing's great. It's super sturdy. It goes up and down easily. It does not have a motor system, but it's got this spring-loaded raise lower system, which works pretty well. It's also not huge, so I don't want a huge standing desk in here. I just want kind of a work area where I can put a computer, mess around with it, show it off when I'm filming. So yeah, this is going to be a slight step up from the folding table that I was using before. All right, I've got some of my posters moved up to the ceiling. You know, ceiling space is really overlooked and usually wasted in most houses. It's free real estate. Donnie is making sure to help with this project by shredding all of the cardboard. We're pretty sure he is part rodent. It's a good thing I put those magnets on the doors because Fluff keeps trying to get into the cupboards. Fluff, are you naughty? Hi. You think this whole thing is for you, don't you? Yeah, you think this whole thing is just for the kitties. So I'm still working on the lighting in here. I got a bunch of these hex lights that you can plug together to make different shapes. I'm a little disappointed in the brightness. For something called Bright Lux brand, these aren't very bright. So I don't know if I'm actually going to use these to return them. They're fun. They have cool patterns and color combos and stuff, but yeah, they're just not very bright, and also they make a noise. I can hear a slight buzzing from at least one of these units, so the quality on these is not very good, and I probably won't use them. So I got this cabinet light thing. Let's see what that looks like. Much brighter. Even has different color temperatures. Yeah, I like that. So let's see how the room looks for light now. This is with all the curtains shut and the lights off. This is one of those cabinet lights plus the top lights up here. This is with the second cabinet light on full. This is main cabinet light on full, second one on half. This is with a backlight added. This is with a cat. It's important that your lights have a nice soft focus, just like this nice soft cat. This is with 5000 K color temperature on both those lights, and this is with 3000 color temperature on both of those lights, plus whatever this is. This is just a daylight bulb, I think, in the background. Now I do want some lights in the cabinet still, and this is all kind of a work in progress. I'm trying to figure out kind of a 3-light situation without actually having giant umbrellas and light panels pointing at me from every direction, because I want to be able to still work here on the counter. I bought a few more LED strips to go inside the cabinet doors. Now, I did notice when I was doing some test filming, the ones up here have a noticeable flicker in certain color modes. Basically, the solid colors, red, green, blue, are stable, but when you combine red and green or red and blue to get some other color, there's a duty cycle, and they're flashing them on and off a little bit, and the camera can see that even if my eyes can't. So unfortunately for some of the backlighting, we might be stuck with just primary colors up here. Maybe I'll get a different light strip that has less of a refresh issue, but we'll see what happens. We'll also see how these look, if I can do other colors in the cabinets or if we're going to be stuck with red, green, blue. And it's not always easy to tell until I actually go back and look at the video. Oh yeah, I can definitely tell we've got that same flickering issue with different color combos. I thought I was buying 4-foot strips. These are definitely 6-foot strips. Well, the adhesive on these LED strips is terrible and they barely stick to the wood, but I think they look nice. Maybe it's just me, but I think that is a very pretty cabinet. And this is a very pretty cat. Hi, you're so helpful. The downside is I put the IR receiver inside the cabinet, so I have to open the door to change the colors. I can actually take the remote and just fire it through the gap between the doors. That kind of works. I think that looks pretty good. Just have to verify in the post here that we're not getting any flickering issues. So the hardest part of this entire project has been these LED light strips. They will not stick to the wood. I've tried the default adhesive that came with them, they fell off. I've tried double-sided strong 3M double-sided tape. They fell off. I've tried hot glue. They fell off. I'm going to try staples next. Well, my new bulletin board finally showed up, so now I can reorganize all of that stuff back onto there. So as part of this project, I tried reorganizing and re-alphabetizing my book collection back here. It's still not perfect because we definitely still have overflow. I've kind of got this roughly as alphabetized fiction, sci-fi. I've got some research stuff down there. This is kind of general reference and other history stuff. And then we've got oversized sci-fi, graphic novels, comics, that sort of thing. More alphabetized fiction and yeah, some other stuff kind of crammed in there that doesn't really fit. So it's still definitely a mess. I even have this pile to take to the used bookstore, and even pulling all that stuff out, we still have overflow over here. We still have shelves with things that don't fit. So up top here is stuff that I haven't read yet that I still need to get to. We've got railroad research reference for the book that I'm working on. I've got old photo albums and yearbooks and whatnot. I've got more sort of reference research related things. So I definitely still have too much stuff in the office. It's an ongoing process and I really should learn to let go of some of it, but I'm a hoarder and I love hoarding books, so I have too many of them. Should I get rid of them after I've read them? Maybe, but sometimes I like to read them again, so I'm a hoarder. It doesn't help my organization attempts that the cats will absolutely jump in here, get in behind the books and push things out. I've tried putting rows of stuff in the back, I've tried blocking in the top. They'll actually sit there and pull books out, squeeze in there, and then push everything on the floor. So that's another ongoing battle. Speaking of battles, I think I finally found a solution to the lights in the cabinet here. I just went kind of nuts with push pins. So the lights are twisted up, they're kind of smashed in there. I'm lucky they're still working. I may have put some push pins through the light strip by accident, but it's working and it's staying in place for once. All right, so after all of that, we are basically done with the filming area, project area, this whole new setup. There are one or two little things that I want to still do, but they don't really show up on camera and they're not super important. So I think I'm actually ready to start using this area to create some videos. And if you watch my sponsored reviews, you may have seen this area already because I did use it for a review of a power bank. So this has shown up on the channel probably chronologically before this video comes out, but not everybody watches those review videos. So anyway, I am really looking forward to using this for some vintage computer stuff, electronic stuff, Meshtastic, Raspberry Pi, Arduino, any of my small fiddly projects that never really had a home before. They were happening out in the garage, they were happening in the basement. Well, now they've got a spot where I can both do the projects, film the projects, I have a decent backdrop, I have decent lighting, hopefully decent audio, and I don't have to contend with just a basement with some lamps clamped around randomly and the camera balancing on milk crates or, you know, whatever I've done in the past. So let's do a little tour of what the office looks like now. I'm going to switch over to the GoPro for this because it has the wide angle lens. Of course, we have the filming area over here. We have the nice new project desk. I've got some slidey feet on it so it can go into the corner here when I'm not using it. We have the display cabinet, which I am pretty happy with. This has finally come out the way I want it, with the LED lights inside. So we've got some Sandland stuff, we have some radio control stuff, we have a few electronics projects, a bunch of open source stuff. We did a little sign-in sheet for our booth, so that was pretty cool. A bunch of interesting people signed that. Here we've got some stuff that's been on the channel before and some stuff that hasn't. We have Fluff helping out. Come on, out. Out. Thank you. So we've got some antique radio books, we've got old cameras, old wireless mic, new-ish camera. None of my equipment is new. All of my stuff is like at least 10 years old. So none of this stuff is actually worth any money, and half of it is kind of barely there when it comes to making a YouTube channel. In fact, this GoPro is probably the very newest camera that I got for Christmas, and it's working pretty well. I'm just looking for an excuse to use it here. We have Fluff once again helping out as usual. To the other side of the office, this is basically the same as I had before. This is my main computer. The one over here is my video editing computer. I have redone all of the bookshelves. They're still a mess, but they're slightly better than they were. And then we also have this bookshelf in the corner with some of my research notes and whatnot. I've got some plants in here, which the cats are constantly in danger of knocking the ones off of this top shelf. I had to put a little bit of chicken wire around this one so they wouldn't dig in it. Isn't that right, Donnie? You love to dig in plants. So yeah, I guess that's about it for the office tour. It's not a big office, but I'm trying to make the most out of it here with this setup. All right, well, that's all we've got for this video. I am going to wrap this up. I would like to thank all of my Patreon supporters for helping me afford crazy new IKEA furniture like this. All these bookshelves are probably worth 10 times as much as all my filming equipment, so this is a big investment. And again, I really appreciate the Patreon supporters, the YouTube members, and those folks help me make unwise financial decisions like this. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter or a YouTube member, I will throw links to that down in the description below. And again, that really helps out the channel, helps me improve things, helps me build up newer and better filming equipment so that these videos continue to increase in quality. Or at least that's the idea. Finally, thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hi, Fluff. You're just gonna launch yourself into my outro. Oh, cats.